All right. So welcome to the evening session. It's probably like the last session at Dreamforce, and everyone's probably tired. We've got something really exciting for everyone today. We're going to be talking about your dogs and cats. Quick show of hands. Anybody have pets in the room? All right, almost everyone. But those of you who don't have probably adopted a little penguin by now already, so yeah, that counts. With all seriousness, we've got something really interesting to talk about. We're going to be talking about digital transformation in retail and CPG. And we're going to be talking about a few trends in the industry and where it's going, and what's really important to consumers and shoppers out there. And how do you translate Salesforce data, customer experience into something real meaningful, some real results. We'll hear a little bit later about Royal Canin and their story, and how they've been able to leverage the platform in a digital transformation to really bring happiness and health to your dogs and cats. So with that, let me get started and introduce our fantastic panel of speakers here. I'll start with myself. I'm Ankit Gandhi. I lead Fujitsu's SaaS practice, and I help businesses deliver value out of SaaS technologies. With me is Gavin Frank from Salesforce.
Hi, Gavin Frank. I run our ecosystem strategy for retail consumer goods, working with partners like GLOVIA to help complement and enhance what Salesforce does to deliver the most comprehensive solution suites we can for our customers.
Thank you. And we've got Scott from Royal Canin.
I'm Scott Blankenship. I work with Royal Canin. I'm a customer care manager with our team. Spend a lot of time in supply chain, which you'll hear about here in a little bit. Also on our business transformation team, so looking at how we can enable systems, processes, and leverage talent to be more pets.
Fantastic. And Ruchir, who's also on my team.
Hello everyone, my name is Ruchir Patel. I'm an enterprise architect and I lead the GLOVIA OM digital strategy in Fujitsu.
Thank you. So, to get started, just want to really talk about a few things we'll be covering today. So first, we'll look at the ingredients of a digital transformation. What goes into a digital transformation and how do you drive success out of it, right? And then we'll talk a little bit about getting a 3D view of the shopper and the trends that are out there in the market today and what consumers are asking for. And then finally, we'll talk about the story from Royal Canin and look at how their digital transformation went about, why they did what they did, and how they're delivering customer experience. We'll dive a little bit deeper into the solution overview after that and keep a few minutes for Q&A. We're also going to be doing a little bit of a Twitter poll at some point in the middle, so if you guys have Twitter, keep that handy. You get a chance to win about a $100 gift card with that poll, so it's going to be some fun. So let's get started with the ingredients of a digital transformation. So we're a fairly large tech company. We do a lot of work with tech in the tech industry, and we survey a lot of our customers. And we did a survey of about 1,000 global companies out there, and we found that 90% of them are going through a digital transformation of some kind. Right? And that's fairly normal in this day and age. But we decided to dig a little deeper into what are people doing when they ask for a digital transformation or they talk about a digital transformation. And it boils down to something fairly simple at a high level. You start with a digital strategy, and then you figure out whether you want to enable a new user experience of some kind, or you want to join up, say, multiple fragmented processes at the back end, or maybe you're trying to come up with a new route to market to help you grow. Whatever you choose, you'll then go down two paths. Either you invest in a brand new digital platform, or you look at your legacy infrastructure and figure out how to modernize it. Now, again, it boils down to an end-to-end process modernization at the heart of it, right? Gone are the days when retailers would go in and build a mobile app and then a web app and say, hey, look, we've done digital transformation, we're digital, right? It doesn't work like that anymore. It has to be connected, and it has to be able to deliver a real customer experience altogether, right? That's where we want to go with this. And then we took another step further and said, once you've figured out where you want to go, how you want to go about doing it, what are the ingredients that make a digital transformation successful? And we realized it boils down to 4 things, which we call the PACT. It's the digital transformation PACT. And that's people, actions, collaboration, and technology. Right? Now, a lot of us here, if you're familiar with the Salesforce platform, you know that you have the right technology. It's a fantastic platform to enable a digital transformation. What a lot of folks miss is the other 3 things, which is Do you have the right people and the skill set to make this happen? Are you taking the right actions in terms of building the frameworks and the processes that will help you succeed as you transform? And then the collaboration. Are you working with partners and people within the ecosystem who can help you succeed, right? You don't have to go about doing this all on your own, right? How do you collaborate across teams? Now, we studied this, and then we also wanted to ask ourselves, why? Right? Why is everybody trying to make a big deal out of a digital transformation? Well, why do we want to do this? So what we found out is across industries, the top 3 or 4 drivers for a digital transformation are, one is reducing cost and driving efficiency, no brainer there. The other is growth. How do you start to grow revenue and market share? And the other is innovation and beating out the competition, right? So with these 4, and you'll see specifically with retail, it's a lot more focused on growth and innovation versus cost reduction, right? And however, these are still the top 3 priorities, and everyone in your experience, you probably know that if you also want to drive down cost and grow and innovate, it's essentially conflicting priorities. It's something that doesn't come very easily. And what we learned is that every product out there is only that much better than its nearest competitor, and that much better in terms of price point than its nearest competitor. But what you all have is the opportunity to compete on the customer experience. So that's one of the key drivers behind a digital transformation that can help you compete and succeed in today's day and age. And that's where a lot of the technology, the data, the people, the processes, and how you put all of that together and interact with the customer comes into play. So we talked a lot about the theory and the data behind this, but what I'd like to do is invite Gavin to come in and talk to us about the view of the shopper. What is happening in the world of the shopper, and what can we learn from there? So Gavin.
Okay, thank you. So what we've noticed over the past couple of years, the race to the bottom is coming to an end. So with the Amazon effect, competitive price matching, all of these things, endless markdowns, always on promotions, basically people are starting to erode what the brand could do and what was relevant to the shopper. But what we found, and why I'm saying the race to the bottom is coming to an end, is that 80% of customers prefer experiences rather than these tricks that we were using in the past. So retail continues to grow. Q1 in the US, retail grew 4.7%. Of that, you can see the split of stores and e-commerce. 14% of all retail sales came from e-commerce. So the importance of having a holistic understanding of your customer and your products and that experience across your digital and physical touch points are more important than ever. But it remains challenging due to that fact specifically. So stores, how do we stay relevant? How do we make the store match the digital experience? Over 4,000 store closures in 2018, over 8,000 in 2017. Amazon effect. Amazon earned 78% of the e-commerce growth over those years. How do we fight against that? And why are retailers getting squeezed? So if everything is a level playing field, if you're selling the same product at the same price, working with a B2C direct consumer brand, they can own the product, they can own the product experience. Marketplaces give you options and then the visibility across multiple products. Retailers need to win on customer service. Customer service could be that differentiator. Driving that experience regardless if you're in the store, or on your digital touch point, across all touch points. You need to have a consistent experience, and the data needs to be right to drive that experience. So how did we get these metrics? How did we figure this out? We actually went out and used a lot of data from our customers. Shopping activity, over 500 million shoppers and the data around it, over 200 million service cases, looking at the analytics behind the Service Cloud. Did a survey of over 6,000 consumers and set up mystery shopping across 70 stores in major city locations. And what do we find? So this is the state of today's shoppers. 37% of revenue influenced by recommendations. So that's also, you have your recommendations on the website, but that's also empowering a store associate to know, hey, let me recommend this product. Let me recommend a product that I know can be sourced in the store, or flexible fulfillment options. Being able to say, you might not want this product today, you want it shipped to your house or shipped to another store. You're in San Francisco, you guys are going home after the show. Buying a product here, it might not be great to go home with it. So to be able to have it delivered either to your house or to a local store, things of that nature. 60% of mobile traffic. So the ability to give that shopper what they get across your mobile site, be able to drive that experience in the store that ties to that experience that they have every day with their devices. Almost half of shoppers prefer to buy in the store. So how do you take everything that they get from that digital presence and emulate it in the store and to keep it consistent? So again, these themes it's all about the experience. 72% of users are using mobile in the store. So not only are they getting all of that great information, product, pricing, competitive pricing, they can check across all of it. They know you in and out. Across all of the different information that they have. You need to have your store experience be one-to-one with that, or as close as you can. So what are the mandates based on what we found? What do shoppers want? They want a fresh experience. They want to be where I am. And that's not only just from a touch point perspective, but that's also understanding where your products live, having a view of inventory across all of those touch points, and being able to deliver product in the way that the customer wants it, and give it meaning, tie it to a bigger cause. So with that said, we're going to hear from Royal Canin about how they leveraged a great brand, a great company with GLOVIA in conjunction with Salesforce to bring these things to the shopper.
Thanks, Kevin. It's a great brand, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Pretty big fan. So as you heard earlier, my name is Scott Blankenship. I'm a customer care manager with Royal Canin. My background heavily is in supply chain. Spent a lot of time with our logistics, warehousing teams, as you might expect from a CPG company. Promise not to talk about blockchain at all. That's saved for another date. But first, what I want to talk about, which is most important in this journey, is Royal Canin. As we alluded to earlier, we've been moving very customer-centric, which is a buzzword we all hear, but what does it mean for us? We have a unique set of customers, right? We're not serving a person or a typical consumer, we're serving a pet. And it can be somewhat challenging to communicate with those pets, right? But we want to make sure that we provide the perfect diet for each individual pet through either life stage, size, therapeutic needs. That's the core of what we do. So everything that we do at Royal Canin is to serve more pets and make their lives better, make them healthier and happier. So we have to make certain customer connections, right? We have to have influencers, whether it's the person who moves the pet to the pet parent, or it's the vet that makes the excellent recommendation to the pet parent when they come in, or it's the retail store and they have knowledge inside there to advise what is the best diet to have. So to that end, around 2011, we decided that we were going to own the customer connection, and we actually decided we weren't going to be like every other CPG, not every other, but a lot of other CPG companies, and ship through purely distributors, wholesalers. I've got a separate call center, I've got a separate customer contact center. We brought that all in-house because we want to own the relationship with the customer. We wanted to take their orders, we wanted to talk to them every day, and we wanted to start working on an experience. Because as you can see on this slide, we own it from end to end. We manufacture the food, and the core of what we do is being a pet food manufacturer with, again, making the perfect diet. We send that through to a central hub, we send that through to some big box chains, but we also deliver the right diet to the pet parent's house at their doorstep, which is critical now. We have to be not only fast, but we have to be reliable, and we have to be visible to the customer. It's not enough to just deliver the product the next day. We have to make sure that they can see it the whole way through. So since 2011, we've had a lot of sustained growth. Now, a fun fact, we're owned by Mars Incorporated, a very private, family-owned company. So I wish I could tell you a little bit more about that sustained growth, but I'll just say that we've nearly doubled the size of the company since the time that we took this on. So it's been very, very successful. We've done a pretty good job at creating these customer connections, but we have a little ways to go. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about here, is how supply chain can leverage a transformation itself for customer experience. Because I don't know if any of you guys are historically in supply chain, but what we're really good at is highly utilizing transportation or highly utilizing warehouses and getting product from one place to another place quickly and efficiently. And that's what you see here, is that the sales teams, the marketing teams, they would go out and try to create an experience. They would come back and say, here's the experience I want to create. I need you to support this. And the supply chain would do as best it can to be really highly efficient at that. And we did a pretty good job. But we weren't responsive, right? We weren't connected to the customer. We weren't part of developing that customer experience. We were simply supporting the requirements that were passed back to us by everybody who was up front. And so you lead to these kind of separations between these different activities where some are very responsive to customer needs, but aren't necessarily efficient. And supply chain processes will be efficient, but not necessarily responsive. And it's kind of a simple change, right? We need both. You don't want to just be able to serve the customer efficiently. You need to be responsive to their needs and agile to what products they need and where they need them. So the way we kind of went back to thinking about customer experience isn't just building it backwards, but building it in collaboration. And we need the people, process, and tools to do those things, which is what has led us towards this digital transformation. And I know the digital transformation is a word we use a lot. Everybody's part of it. We live in a digital world, right? So everybody's transforming in some way with digital assets. But specifically, we wanted to leverage a platform that we already had, which is Salesforce, that we were already creating customer connections in, and say, okay, from a supply chain standpoint, how can we deliver our product much better to the customer and enhance that experience and really make a closed loop from the time that they get the recommendation, whether it's an influencer or a vet or a retail location, to the time that they take that pet food in and they put it in the pet's bowl and we improve their life. How can we close that loop? So we looked at some of the challenges we have, the headwinds that prevent us from moving forward in that direction. And the number one for supply chain, and don't get me wrong, landed cost, extremely important. I don't want Apex to come in here and take away any credentials. It's very important to maintain efficient cost and work profitably. But when you're just looking at a cost per pound or an on-time metric, it doesn't tell you the whole story. If you're not available, how do you know what the sales are you lost? What's the impact on the customer experience? How do we measure that? So we need to step back and just say, what is my OTIF? What is my cost per pound? What is my cost per ton? And take a more holistic approach. Same thing with limited flexibility and high utilization. We can see fairly variable demand spikes. We're a growing brand. That does happen. We don't want to just continue to build factory after factory, right? At some point, capacity is going to become an issue. So we need to come up with a solution that will enable us to serve the pet without just increasing capacity ad nauseum. Also, segmented inventory pools, right? So when we started out, we had a distribution network of around 13 DCs, I believe it was, one main hub located at a factory. We still have a similar infrastructure, but what we've identified is we need to make sure that those inventory pools that we've created aren't segmented to specific customers, and when they're located in the warehouse or even upstream to the DC. We need to make sure that all of our inventory is flexible to serve the customer regardless of its physical location. And then obviously the last one, it's going to be a big one, disparate order intake channels. I don't know if you guys had a similar experience between web services, EDI, direct entry. The way that orders come into your system, or probably systems, is variable, right? And there's all these different back office processes for all these different types of order intakes. And you can't commit the same type of service for every single customer because the way that they order is different. So it creates a lot of unique problems. You have teams get bloated because you need the one person to grab the Excel sheet from the one place and send it to somebody else. We realized that we needed to unify that platform. So we moved towards doing an RFP for the things we needed in an order management system. The priorities we looked for was first, service-based metrics. So like I said, from a supply chain standpoint, we didn't want to focus on cost, we want to focus on service. And we want to make sure that service wasn't a balance. You'll hear it very frequently from logistics managers. They say the core piece of what they do is balance service and cost. The way we're thinking about it is service is a standard, right? We need to define how we're going to serve the customer, and then we're going to do that as efficiently as we can. It's not a trade-off. Service is a standard, and we have to consistently deliver that. So we look at metrics like availability, customer experience, start looking at even from supply chain, net promoter, CSAT scores, bring those back in, and then not just focus on our efficiency scores. And then being agile and responsive. Historically, we like to think of ourselves as a make-to-order company, but that can come with a certain amount of challenges, right? When you need to collect a certain set of demand and then act on it. We want to enable systems that we can replenish our network or replenish customers' inventory from multiple points, regardless of what our demand plan said. And then omni-channel fulfillment of inventory. That was the most critical thing that we were looking for when we did an RFP for various order management solutions. We wanted a system that could do good order orchestration across our entire network, whether that was a replenishment order or whether that was a parcel order or a full truckload order. Regardless of what it was, we wanted to make sure that we'd execute not only the inventory to the right place, but we wanted to execute in a way that was the right experience to the right place. And overall, we wanted a unified order orchestration platform, because we started to think of supply chain not as just transactions and products, but also services and information. And we needed to execute across all four of those pieces to make a good customer experience. So that moves us here, right? Why did we choose GLOVIA? To be fair, we looked at a lot of systems. We made sure that we made the right choice, right? We vetted a lot of different people. There's some great things out there, but we were very confident that we made the right choice here. So it's very scalable, and that was important to us. So like I said, we deliver both full truckload to big box retailers, typical CPG things, right? I'm going to a dock, and then it'll get sold in a big box store, specialty, but still a big box store. But we also deliver that parcel service to your doorstep. So I need a system that can do many different things and execute against many different modes of transportation and many different types of customer experience, but we need to be a consistent customer experience. And we also wanted to manage our network, not just our orders. We want to manage, again, the inventory within the network, not just our orders. So we can transfer it when needed, we can reallocate it when needed, we can shift capacity around, maybe not at manufacturing, but at order execution, which takes us to the inventory flexibility. The number one thing that I asked for when we were having our first talks, and as we moved through to discovery, was having a business user configurable order orchestration platform. Because that's key. I don't know if you guys have had the same problem where you launch an IT project, then all your IT people walk away, you don't have resources, you're stuck with a business user, and now you know you need to make a change, and now it's another project. We wanted to make sure that what we did was have a business configurable interface to where one of our key users could go in, modify the order orchestration, and execute against our new targets. Also, multiple warehouse grouping options. We talk about a consistent customer experience, but we do have different customers with different experience recommendations or requirements. So this system enables us to use different warehouse groupings, whether it's regional, whether it's for specialized product, if you have any kind of refrigeration needs, if you have any kind of specialized shipping needs. In theory, we could leverage multiple warehouse groupings across the entire US to ship product in different ways to different customers to fill a different experience. And then we do a lot of co-packing activity, which I know for a lot of supply chain people or retail CPG can be a challenge. It's usually unique. You're not going to make the same multi-pack season after season. You need a consistent way to execute against these unique products. And this system enables a work order capability that you can partner with on your co-packer, so you can execute a work order down to them and have that consumed and created at those locations, which is a big step forward for us. And the biggest reason? Connected, right? It sits within our CRM platform. We were already on Salesforce, so this made a lot of sense that we were going to put it in a place that would leave us connected to the customer, enable other customer experience across other platforms. We're actually moving to put our customer care team directly into this system, so when a customer is on the phone, they'll have a full visibility of all the orders, inventory, and all the information they need to communicate about what's going on with that customer's order. And also a lot of ease of integration with existing systems. Historically, we always did a lot of point-to-point, a lot of EDI. This system enables us to leverage existing APIs to connect a whole suite of systems that, again, improves the customer experience. So where are we? Well, we started out at stage one, right? We operated in functional silos. We were a collection of business units of finance, manufacturing, supply chain, customer service, and we all did our own thing. Then we started sharing data manually with Excel sheets. I know we can't get away from them, but we had a lot of them. Right now, we believe we're at stage 3 of the functional integration, right? We're integrated with our customers, we're integrated with ourselves, But we believe to enable to serve more pets and maintain a consistent customer experience across all of our channels, we've got to get to a point where it's a full digital ecosystem, not just for customers and pet parents, but for our internal customers as well. So when a supply chain team member goes out, he has a single system, a single point of reference that he can leverage for better planning, for better transportation procurement, for better activities across the board. So with that, we have a question. We talked about a lot of different experiences and how a lot of different systems touch on that experience, whether it's invoicing, order entry, all these different things that go from order to cash collections. So for a Twitter poll, we were just curious with everybody in this room, how many systems touch your order to cash flow? So please select an answer from the choices below and tweet that out to Fujitsu's handle and use the hashtag GLOVIA at DF18. With that, I think we'll go to Rashir.
Thanks a lot, Scott. I'm very fortunate to be able to work with tremendous customers like Royal Canin and very passionate business folks like Scott who are so passionate about improving their customers' experience, and I get to provide them with the tools and technology and build a solution that they can then go and deliver that experience. Once again, before I just move on, that Twitter handle is at Fujitsu America. The poll is live now, so you could go ahead and tweet it or provide your response, and you may get a chance to win a gift card there. So I would like to just mention what are we trying to do with GLOVIA OM. So when we looked at all of our customers who use Fujitsu GLOVIA OM solution, and we looked at the digital transformation solutions that they were implementing, we figured out that our key goals are the three goals that we will try to deliver to our customers. It's number one, it is help them enhance the customer experience. So anything that we build in our product would be directly correlated to the capabilities that enhance customers' experience. We would like our customers to enable them to do digital disruption. Obviously we are competing, as Ankit mentioned earlier. Companies are now, they have an opportunity to compete on customer experience, and to do that helps them be digitally disruptive in their industry. And of course, the users of the system, we want to empower these teams and individuals, of course by using the Salesforce platform and GLOVIA OM solution, but a whole ecosystem of digital technologies that empowers all those personas who actually are in charge of delivering the customer experience. So be it the sales teams, the dealers and distributors, customer service teams, all those individuals and teams. So in the retail and CPG industry, there are some key components that enable the whole click and brick commerce. So we integrate really well with the Salesforce solution. So Salesforce Commerce Cloud, as you all know, provides that digital experience for the shopper who's online, right? To enable that, there are lots of components and building blocks that Salesforce provides in the Commerce Cloud engine. We can use, we can use Salesforce Service Cloud capabilities. The customer service teams can create cases, help the customers with their, if they have any customer service issues, manage other interaction points, including marketing activities. A shopper may choose to walk into a store and purchase. We heard from Gavin that almost half of the shoppers are inclined towards walking to a store and purchase a product. So we also have a solution we can integrate with any of the POS systems in a store, physical store. But then GLOVIA OM actually acts as that order orchestration engine that connects the online digital experience as well as the offline experience, and helps the enterprises like Royal Canin deliver that customer experience by streamlining orders, inventory, fulfillment, managing their purchasing activities, and so on. So GLOVIA OM is a native Salesforce-based solution. It's 100% native to Salesforce, meaning we have utilized the Salesforce platform to build functions that help all these boxes that you see in the red in the center. These are the capabilities that GLOVIA brings to the table and adds to your Salesforce environment. So you may be using Marketing and Sales Cloud for managing your sales processes, and Service Cloud and Community Cloud for all the customer service functions. GLOVIA brings order to cash flow to the table. It enables you to manage orders, fulfillment and invoicing. And in order to deliver on that, we have some very key fundamental blocks like very robust inventory management, inventory planning functions, replenishment of inventory through purchasing, through manufacturing and all those functions. So all of these are natively working on a Salesforce platform. That itself adds a lot of value straight out of the box to the customers, because they're not worried about dealing with legacy systems and things like that. We also complement the Salesforce ecosystem and the Salesforce Commerce Cloud solution. I think you all may be aware of how Commerce Cloud enables both B2B and B2C channel with their latest offerings, right? So Commerce Cloud is the primary workflow engine that will be leveraged for order entry by the customers. It delivers that digital experience that the marketing and sales teams strive to enable on the digital platforms. But once the orders have been entered into the system, that's when a whole gamut of processes come into play where order orchestration is required. In today's day and age, the inventory need to be at the right place at the right time in order to fulfill that promise, which was made upstream. Perform order orchestration functions, do order fulfillment activities. As Scott was just mentioning, supply chain is extremely important. It plays an extremely important role in delivering that customer experience. We also provide customer service workflows, and we enrich the Service Cloud capabilities. So once a case is created by customer service team, they can now take further action in a single system. So they can create a returns transaction or a credit transaction. We also bring in the back office operation functions like creating work orders for manufacturing teams or purchase orders to purchase from your suppliers. But more importantly, with GLOVIA OM, we enable some key personas that are working under the covers to deliver that customer experience. So inventory fulfillment teams that are out in the warehouse or in the store, channel partners, the distribution network, all of those users, as well as obviously the sales and customer service teams, which are primarily using Salesforce as their system of engagement. So with that, I think I'll ask Ankit to share some results on what we are doing with
Going to Twitter?
on Twitter. How are we doing there with the responses?
Let's go refresh.
So we asked the question. This question was from Scott. How many systems are we?
Well, of course, we have no Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Nothing like live troubleshooting.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get off my phone.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Or maybe Brian, do you have some results? Oh, right there. Brian has results.
We've got the results. So 6% of the voters voted on 0 to 2 systems.
It's an ideal state, I think.
Not sure was another 6%, so that's good. And then more than 5 systems was 35%, which is that's probably the extreme. But 3 to 5 systems seems like the majority with 53%. So yeah, that's quite
Interesting. Yeah, but more than half the voters are saying their companies or enterprises have between 3 and 5 systems to deliver that order to the customer. That's probably a lot of system. It requires a lot of orchestration. So with that, we'd like to open it up for questions. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
yeah.
We don't use Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Would you still integrate with my systems?
That's a great question. So the question is, if the customer does not use Salesforce Commerce Cloud, would we still be able to connect with them? So the answer is yes. So Salesforce, GLOVIA and Salesforce solution is obviously cloud native. So we can integrate with any system. We don't just work with Commerce Cloud. And the most important factor there is Salesforce is an API first platform. So anything that any partner builds, especially GLOVIA, where we have always made sure that any function that we enable is first of all API ready, so we can integrate with any systems. Any other question? All right.
All right. We can wrap up.
I think with that we can wrap up. We'll give 4 minutes back to the team to go and find another session to join. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for attending.